I felt like I was reading some ancient alien script.
And this was also before Claude and ChatGPT, so no help at all there.
I'm like really happy that it was something that I built like 2 years ago and it's still growing so fast.
Some bugs are fun to fix, this one wasn't.
What's the worst project you worked on?
I think that every project where bad architecture meets unrealistic product expectations is bad.
I started a side project with a brother, or actually a cousin, so that's the worst thing you can do, I guess. The expectations, the realizations, everything, it can't go well when you're working with family that's not in the industry or whatever.
That would be a client project we worked on. It took like 4 months and everything was great until the last month when the client out of nowhere changed the scope a lot. So basically we had to scrap a lot of work we did. We had to think about some new features, some new opportunities, and it was kind of 2.5 months of work packed in 1 month until the deadline. So it was too much.
So I remember one project which I inherited from a colleague of mine who switched jobs, and he worked solo on the project, so he was unsupervised and he left it in a really bad state. The logic was really tangled up, and I felt like I was reading some ancient alien script and I couldn't get heads or tails out of it. It was really difficult for me to sift through this code and to make something usable out of it, and I remember really being really pissed about it.
We had this old legacy project that's like 10-plus-year-old code, which needed to be maintained. It was also all internal libraries. There was no documentation. The documentation lived inside of the heads of the senior engineers, so you had to kind of figure it out yourself, and you couldn't Google it because it's internal libraries. And this was also before Claude and ChatGPT, so no help at all there. That was a really painful experience, but also really rewarding once you actually figure it out and it all clicks in your head.
It was migration of the huge database, and it was worse because only document we had was like legacy code that was built upon the legacy code. So,
What's the best project you worked on?
It's these type of projects where leadership has a clear vision and leadership is able to relay over that vision to the rest of the team.
I usually enjoy more the collaboration and working with other people than the project itself.
I would single out the Ponta application. We just had a really good team. Everybody's insight was really valuable. I had a great mentor from whom I learned a lot from, and it was just a really meaningful project for us. We felt really good working on this.
Well, I always loved the thing that I'm currently working on, so that's always fresh in my mind.
So it was race condition that we had. It was the best project for me because it was hard to replicate, it was hard to analyze, and it was hard to implement. But in the end, we got it working. So the gratification of seeing it come to life was all worth it.
Okay, so I would say the automations feature in productive. It was such a different feature from what we used to do, and I was given the opportunity to build it. And in the end, it was one of the best features we have. The usage is going up from month to month. I'm like really happy that it was something that I built like 2 years ago and it's still growing so fast.
It was like the biggest legacy migration that we ever had. I had the best team in the world, so I would say that this is what set things differently.
What's the worst thing you had to fix?
My posture. I had really a terrible back pain from sitting too much during the COVID era. I think this is a very dangerous job because it involves a lot of sitting, and sitting is the new smoking. So I encourage everyone to move more if you're a software engineer.
We had this unstable LLM prompt, which basically means you ask it the same question and it gives different answers. And the answers are not marginally different, they are very different. To fix that, you just need to rephrase the question. So it was a few days of just rephrasing the question over and over and over again until it worked. And then when it worked, you still have, you didn't learn anything, you didn't have fun fixing it, it was just, you're just glad it's over. I mean, some bugs are fun to fix, this one wasn't.
Oh, we deployed something that was completely out of order. Take it down and fix it from start to finish and redeploy it yesterday.
Tricky or convoluted spaghetti code, which in the end you sometimes have an easy problem and a complex solution, but sometimes you get a complex problem and a spaghetti complex solution, and then when there are bugs in that code, it can be really hard. It's hard to understand the problem, and then it's hard to understand the code. And that combination can be most challenging, I'd say.
So one time I remember working on a really big scale production application and accidentally just deleting a lot of important stuff from the database. I was really young in my career, and I remember being really stressed out about this. But the project manager protected me, and we were able to restore a backup of this database. So in the end it was everything was good, but it was really stressful for me.
An incident I made. I made a bug in the code that entries to the database were written wrong, and I had to manually fix thousands of them. And after that I always double-checked and triple-checked everything.